not a typical Rotary invocation, but I'm going to do it anyway. I would like to start with a quote of one of Dr. Raxlin's patients who travels from Florida regularly to see him. I think that this quote encapsulates the essence of today's meeting. I'm nervous, by the way. Okay. Susan said, I spent the first 30 years of my life truly believing I was mentally ill, physically handicapped and weak, and a walking hypochondriac. My life changed in 2002 when a kind man looked into my eyes and said, you have Lyme disease. And based on your physical and mental history, I believe that you've had it since you were just a little tyke. Tears of relief streamed down my face, and I barely mumbled, I just thought I was weak and a freak of nature. He looked at me thoughtfully and said, you are the furthest thing from being weak. You are incredibly strong to have survived this disease for so many years, while striving to live a productive life. You should be proud of yourself. Thanks to Dr. Raxlin, 85% of Susan's debilitating symptoms are gone, and he has declared that her Lyme, Bartonella, and Babesia are currently in remission. In addition, with his treatment of her brother and sister-in-law, they were able to return to healthy and productive lives and are now literally running 26-mile marathons yearly. And now to quote the Dalai Lama, this is an excerpt from a beautiful and simple poem that has continued to inspire me throughout the years, and I believe will do the same for you for today's mission. While you listen to this, I ask that you please pray for those with diseases of any sort, with special consideration today for Lyme patients who are suffering, undiagnosed and diagnosed, from around the world. In addition, please make this a prayer of thanks and protection for the courageous and compassionate doctors, nurses, and advocates everywhere who are working tirelessly and fearlessly to help patients find a diagnosis, treatment, and a cure for Lyme disease. This poem is called Emptiness, Meditation, and Action. An image of a sun enthroned in the heavens, radiating 1,000 beams of light. Were one to shower bright rays of love upon all beings, how excellent. An image of a kingly eagle gliding high in space, for one's mind to glide without grasping in the space of truth itself, clear and void, how excellent. An image of a gray wind flowing forcefully through the sky, for one to maintain an energy flow always beneficial to others, the best of spiritual practices, never artificial, how excellent. An image of the vast sky everywhere, free of obstruction, were this song on emptiness, meditation, and action without hindrance to benefit the world, how excellent.
Now I'm going to introduce Cynthia Leonard. She has some words to say about Rotary, and then she'll introduce our speaker for today. Cynthia?
Thank you, John. Too much paperwork up here. Cell phone notices, get rid of that. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Providence. Rotary International is the world's first international service organization. There are more than 32,000 Rotary clubs in the world in more than 200 countries. Globally, we're very active in bringing clean water to developing countries, and we have been engaged in the fight against polio. In fact, Rotary International has been credited by the World Health Organization for nearly eradicating polio. That's the power of Rotary, and it's 32,000 Rotary clubs worldwide. Locally, though, you'll find us serving breakfast to the homeless this Thursday at Amos House, as Marion mentioned earlier. Next month, we're going to take the students from San Miguel School fishing for the day. And each year, we give every third grader in the city of Providence a dictionary. We have raised money this year for the Rhode Island Coalition of the Homeless and the Institute for the Study and Practice of Nonviolence. And we fulfill grant requests for about 15 to 18 local nonprofits annually. And today, we're raising money for Lyme disease. If you're inclined to give a gift, you may write a check out to the Lyme Disease Association and put it in the gold containers on the table. The money raised will go towards finding a cure. Our speaker today is Dr. Bernard Raxlin. He's a highly empathetic, courageous, and intelligent man who will speak about what he knows best, Lyme disease. He traveled to Providence from New York to address our club, and we have visitors here today from all over New England. Thank you all for making the journey. He will answer questions at the end of the presentation. Kindly write your question on one of the green Lyme cards that you see on your table, and we'll collect them during the presentation. Dr. Raxlin's bio, at nearly 8 pages, is quite extensive, so I'll just give you a few highlights. He's a psychiatrist in private practice, specializing in the neuropsychiatric and neurocognitive complications of tick-borne diseases. He is a founding member of the International Lyme and Associated Diseases Society. He holds a BA from Stanford in philosophy and anthropology. I found that particularly interesting, Dr. Raxlin. He received his medical degree from the University of Toronto and his psychiatric residency at the University of Chicago. He's had some interesting medical assignments in Guatemala, Brazil, and Israel. His university affiliations have included UPenn and Yale. He's authored many, many medical publications, has presented at workshops all over the country, has appeared on national television, including the Discovery Channel, and just this morning he was on Frank Coletta's morning news show. In his spare time, he's written 4 plays. He's also writing a book called Lyme Disease, The Great Masquerader. And if you can't wait for this book to be published, the basis for his book can be found on his website. Dr. Raxlin is a man who has restored faith, hope, and help to so many Lyme disease victims. His presentation will help us understand the silent suffering and will give us hope that we can overcome this horrific disease that destroys so many lives so unnecessarily. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Bernard Raxlin.
Thank you very much for that very warm introduction, and it's a great pleasure to be here today and addressing the Rotary Club of Providence, Rhode Island. I was convinced really that the Rotarians was a great planetary conspiracy. And now I'm convinced if you're going to take up the cause of Lyme disease, there's no question that this is a very conspiratorial organization. I would like to do a couple of things this morning, actually this afternoon, in order to orient us. So if you'll bear with me, I think the first thing that would be probably the most useful would be to go over maybe a 20-minute slide presentation about Lyme and some of the issues that are related to it, so that some of the mythology that you have in front of you can be dispersed, hopefully. So I'm going to walk over to the other side and use the slide, the PowerPoint presentation. Ontario, the French River that flows into Georgian Bay, and it's a 100 million acre national park, so you can't build there anymore. And the deer population is extensive, and yet I have never in the 24 years that I've been up at the summer home ever seen a tick on any of my family or on any of the other cottagers that are sequestered around us. There's about an acre between my summer home and the next summer home, which I find very interesting because somebody should have turned their cell phone off. So the whole ecosystem, I think, is in the process of evolving and changing, and we never saw this 25 years ago. For sure, Lyme disease existed, and it existed certainly well into the 1900s, but the explosion, the pandemic that we're seeing now, I think is a result of the change in ecology. So when you talk about Lyme disease, you really have to see it in a general systems point of view, because every single level, from the biosphere through nations, government, family groups, the individual himself, the organ systems involved, the cellular components, the molecular structure, all of these interact to get